Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Hey everybody, how's it going? And now Skype is
Eh,
messing up. Tonight is not our night.
No, it is not. I think it decided that if you spent a week sick, that Pamela decided to do the same.
I guess so. Our recording is not working. Skype's not working. But here we are. We're live.
Whew.
I hope.
We hope, yes.
I hope we're live.
We
It
hope
says
we're
we
live.
are, so we'll
Oh,
go
yeah.
with the point that Mixer saying we're live. So hey everybody in the chat.
Hopefully someone from the chat acknowledges that we're live.
Exactly. We're just
yeah.
talking to ourselves.
Yes. Let's head into the game news. And the big news this week is that the folks over at Turbine are handling lag, or at least attempting to handle lag, that has been caused by the move from the data center. Whoopee.
Yeah, it's not well in Turbine Land at this point. They are working on the problem. Back on the 18th, Severlin posted, so this morning we did optimization work to clean up network pathing problems and open up new network paths that should have alleviate, if not solve, lag-related network pathing. Thank you all for your trace routes, and at this point we will be watching tonight to see who is improved, who isn't, and whether or not there is still lag that is related to server performance rather than network pathing. And then today, Cordovan posted, hey, ya folks, we're actively investigating several things, and we will have more information as soon as we can. Been working this morning to check in with the folks. We should have more to say moderately soon. Progress is being made. So that is a good sign. We hope.
We hope that's a good sign. This is probably some of the same pathing stuff that they're doing over on the Lotro end.
I would think, yes, it's all related since they're in the same data center now, because I know Lotro did have the same problem. Well, then earlier this afternoon, Argonescence and Thelanis were brought down for a world restart, and they added some other stuff to it. Cordovan posted, we will be bringing down Argonescence and Thelanis at 3 p.m. Eastern today, which they are now back up, for diagnostic testing and maintenance work. We will keep you updated. He then did say later on, Argo and Thelanis are now open, and they have made adjustments to these two worlds that we will be keeping an eye on over the next 24 hours. And then somebody in the thread asked, what exactly are you looking for? And then Coco Majabo from the QA team says, are you seeing lag as often as you were before? Question mark. When do you encounter lag? How long does it last? Question mark. When do you encounter the lag? Is it affecting everyone in your party or just you? Do enemies still appear to be pathing strangely, specifically walking off the ledges? Those are the type of things that we can find useful. Thank you in advance for your insight that you can provide. And then a little bit later on this afternoon, actually early this evening, Cordovan posted, heads up, we'll be restarting Galanda at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, which it is now back up as well, for maintenance and to put in place the same monitoring we have put on Argo and Thelanis. At the moment, we've been getting a moderate number of lag reports from Galanda, specifically today. So we want to take the world down for 60 to 90 minutes to make some adjustments and see what kind of impact it has.
Whee!
And I haven't looked at the forums since all three of those worlds came back up, so I don't know if it's any better.
Well, yeah, that's going to be the tricky thing is. So therefore, they're having a busy day. They had a busy day today, and it looks like they're going to have another busy day tomorrow trying to resolve all of this.
But they are actively working on it. I know the forums, I was watching the forums over the weekend, and people were like just freaking out that we weren't hearing from Turbine. Nobody was saying anything. You know, Turbine doesn't care, yada, yada, yada. They're working on it. They know the lag is here. They're working on it. And, you know, it could be a number of things. To me, being in IT, it looks like it's definitely related to the data center. Somehow it could be a number of things. and I know that is going to be a nightmare for them to try to fix. So we'll see. How is the lag in Lotro now? I know Lotro has been working on this for a while. You
Yeah.
play more than I do in Lotro, so you would be the one to answer that.
Well, I haven't noticed all. I haven't really noticed all. Yeah, occasionally I get a little bit, and occasionally, but in some ways I haven't noticed as much as in the past before the data center move. And I know occasionally you get little spikes here and there. That's, I think, the greatest thing I've noticed since the move. But usually it flows pretty well. And I was on DDO this last week. I was on it yesterday, and I didn't notice anything significant in there.
That's what I was going to ask. And now, are you getting DDO lag? Because I haven't played at all. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I will say it could be that I had one or two incidents, but it isn't enough to have really seared me into the memory. And I have a feeling the ones who are complaining are the ones who are seeing so much lag that it's very memorable.
Yeah, exactly. If you go on the forums and look, people are talking that the lag is just it's crippling and the game is basically unplayable.
Yeah.
But then there's other people saying like you that are saying, oh, I get some lag spikes here and there, but it's not bad.
Now, it could be where we live because I'm only probably a couple of 100 miles from the data center. If someone's
Right.
a couple of thousand miles away from it and
Yeah,
going
see,
through all
and
sorts of weird routes.
that's why it's going to be a nightmare for them to figure out, because you got to figure out, okay, which hops is it taking to get there? What different networks are you using to connect? So I do not envy the turbine folks in the data center right now. So good luck to you. But as we said, they are working on it. So I guess bear with them, and hopefully will be fixed and up and running for everybody soon. Trademark.
All right. Then let's head into the store sales for those of us who can play the game well enough that we care about such things.
The free sample of the week is the Lesser Slayer Count Boost. Use the coupon code, which can be found in our show notes. Also in the store, 20% off shared bank storage, character bank upgrades, select storage bags, the shared bank Platinum Vault. Also 20% off in the DDO store this week.
Right. Then let's head into our site news, which I suppose because Drac has been recovering from illness himself, sounds like not much has happened there. We do have a screenshot, though.
We do. We have another community player submitted screenshot, and it is from Brack Barefeet again this week. And he says, Indiana Gnome, which is an awesome name, by the way, sets on a throne during the birthday celebration. And basically, he's got his gnome sitting on the throne that you can find in the anniversary party quest. So that's a pretty sweet little screenshot he got there. If you have a screenshot and you'd like to see it on our site, send that to podcast@ddoplayers.com, and we might feature your shot on our site.
Right. Then we have a screenshot from the dungeons. But now let's see what stories we have from the dungeon. And we'll begin with DDO Player's Curse of Strahd review. Ooh, you've had a chance to review it then.
Yes. Now, let me, as I stated in the review that I put up, this is just the book itself, and reading through the book, I have not actually ran the adventure yet. So
you haven't already?
I can't speak to that yet, which I did mention in the article. But yes, we have gotten our hands on Curse of Strahd, and we've read it. And spoiler alert, it's awesome! The one thing that really stood out to me about this is the artwork. Wizards of the Coast have outdone themselves on the artwork in this book. It is just amazing, is all I can say. It's another thing about it is, and I did talk about this in the article. You can go over on ddoplayers.com and read the review that I put up. This is a little different book. If you're used to running published adventures by Wizards, they're usually more linear. This is a wide open sandbox. So your players can pretty much do whatever they want. And as a DM, you're going to have to be ready for that, because there's no set paths you can take in Curse of Strahd. It is. What? Go ahead.
This almost looks more like when I looked at the title and saw the shape up and stuff like that. When I first looked at it, I had assumed that it was a source book rather than an adventure.
It's kind of both, actually.
Okay.
It's what it is it's a retelling of the classic I6 Ravenloft. The complete I6 Ravenloft adventure is in the book, and it also is a little mini source book for Barovia. So you could take this book and create your own adventures and place them in Barovia. It's not a full source book a la like the Sword Coast Adventures book. So I just want to make that clear. It's not a full source book like that, but there is enough information in here. You could create your own Ravenloft, / Barovia adventures and use the information that's in there. That's the only kind of weird thing about it is, like I said, it's not linear in the adventure. So if you're not a seasoned DM, you're gonna probably have problems running this adventure because it's a wide open sandbox. You have all the information you need at your fingertips. You're just going to have to be ready for it because it's going to be up to your players on how your players go.
Right, because I noticed that in the list here you said Death House Starter Adventure and Appendix B for first level players I guess to get them warmed up before the main adventure.
Yeah, that is also included in that. We did talk about that a couple weeks ago. That was released in the last Dragon Plus issue for free. It is also included in the Curse of Strahd book, and that will get your players from level 1 to level 3. So if they make it out of the Death House, you should be ready to then start them on the Curse of Strahd and the whole Ravenloft adventure. And you should have all the information needed to do that. So it's a great book, and as I said in my article there too, if you're a player that just plans on playing through this, I would suggest not buying this book because you're going to spoil everything for yourself if you do. This book is mainly geared for, in my opinion, for the DM. I mean, there's nothing stopping players from buying it and reading it if you want to, but you're going to spoil everything if you do. And there is some minor changes that I'm going to keep the spoiler free, so I'm not going to name that. There's a little minor tweaks and changes they've done from the original Ravenloft in this adventure. They've changed it just a tad bit, but they kept the spirit of the original while doing it. So kudos to Wizards for doing that. But overall, It's an amazing book. I recommend it if you're a DM wanting to run it, or if you're just a fan of Ravenloft and you don't plan on playing it. Pick it up.
Then, of course, if you plan to run it online, you could do it through Fantasy Grounds because Curse of Strahd comes to Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah, they wasted no time. This actually came out the same day the book hit retail stores, which was March 15th. Fantasy Grounds got it as well. And that is the full Fantasy Grounds version of the book with all the maps, all the handouts. Everything you can find in the book, you can find in the Fantasy Ground version for the Fantasy Ground software. So good job to them for getting this added very quickly. As I said, it came out the same day.
And of course, if you are running it, you want the Dungeon Master screen for it, which seems to include some nice Ravenloft artwork plus maps.
And that is coming from the fine folks at Gale Force 9. The screen is a perfect companion for those dungeon masters running the Curse of Strahd adventure or any other trek through Barovia. And as you said, the front does include some of the images from the Curse of Strahd book. And then on the inside, the side the DM's going to see, there is some useful maps and useful tables, which should be on any DM screen, and that's coming from Gale Force 9. As I said, pre-orders are up now on their web store. The manufactured retail price on that is going to be $15, and early April is the release date for that from Gale Force 9.
And if you're not planning on playing Curse of Strahd, but are interested in watching it, then you could see it in Dice, Camera, Action.
And we talked about this a couple weeks ago as well. This is the live show that Chris Perkins is putting on with 4 players. He is running players through the Curse of Strahd. The Adventure 1 is out now. You can check it out. The video runs just about 2 hours long. I enjoyed it a lot. It was really fun. The interaction between Anna Robinson and Holly Conrad was amazing. That I don't want to spoil it if you haven't watched the video yet, but the interaction between those two makes it all worth watching.
Okay.
So I think this is going to be a great series. There was some audio issues. Hopefully they will get those sorted out for the next episode, which this airs every Tuesday night. It's live. And then, of course, it goes up to Wizards' YouTube page. So check that out if you want to see the Dungeon Master Extraordinaire himself, Chris Perkins, running some players through Curse of Strahd.
Right. And now we have what is interesting. Is this the first crossover article we had with Lotro Players News?
It is, and I'm glad that you noticed I posted it there as well.
Yes.
Because it did have to do with Lotro Players, because you guys talk about stuff outside of game, just like we do. So, but yes, thanks for noticing that. Finally, good job.
Right. It helped that I host both shows.
Well, yes, that probably did make it easier for you to notice that.
But yes, Tokens Middle-earth comes to the 5th edition D&D via the OGL. And the OGL, that's the One Ring of Gaming?
Yes, the One Ring of Gaming license. That's the open gaming license, of course. And this is coming from Cubicle 7 and Sophisticated Games. They are bringing the world of J.A.R. Tolkien to Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Now, they do already have a game, a role-playing game that is based in Tolkien's work, which that, of course, is the One Ring, which is an amazing RPG.
And in fact, if they didn't, they'd have trouble getting the license.
Yes, they're going to say so. So they do have the license already. So the licensing is taken care of. The thing that I thought was interesting about this is going to be in addition to the One Ring. The One Ring is not going away. So if you're a fan of the One Ring RPG, it's still going to be around. They're still going to update it. They're still going to make stuff for it. They're just using the OGL as a way to bring Tolkien and Middle-earth into 5th edition, which I think was kind of what I think Wizards wanted to happen with the OGL, because you're open to bring anything in that you want. So hence Cubicle 7 is bringing this in. And now my question is, Cubicle 7 also owns the rights to Doctor Who, and there is a Doctor Who role-playing game. So does this mean we might see Doctor Who in Dungeons & Dragons as well?
Well, I don't know how well fits. Has anyone yet experimented with 5th edition in non-fantasy settings? Because I know in 3rd edition they had all of those D20 modern sets.
Right, yeah. To my knowledge, no. I kind of looked a couple days ago on the DM's Guild site to see if there was any non-fantasy things up, and no, I couldn't find any. So published-wise, I'm going to say nobody has. That's not meaning to say somebody's doing a homebrew or something already. So we'll see, but this is pretty exciting, though. And as I said, this is in addition to the One Ring, so if you're a fan of the One Ring system, you can still play that. But if you want to bring Tolkien and all the hobbits and all the adventures in Middle-earth into 5e, you can now do it, and you won't have to wait long, because this is coming later this summer. We don't have an exact date yet, but we will be sure to tell you about that when we know the exact date. So pretty exciting stuff.
Ooh, so that means 5e is going to be one edition to rule them all.
Oh, well played, Pilot.
Yes. So let's head on to the tabletop. We actually have a tabletop news also. And Riftwalker, a Storm Hollow card game preview review. Oh, preview review?
It's a preview review because it's not available yet. It was up on Kickstarter, and since we had these problems, I didn't have my tabs open, so let me go and see if this actually did get funded. It looks like it... It did. They got funded by $1, as a matter of fact. They wanted $8,000, and they got $8,001.
I wonder if they were $1 short and the person sponsoring it decided, I'll throw in $2. I don't know if that's allowed or not.
I don't know. But yes, this is a card game where you play a Rift Walker, and what you do is you will open up rifts and explore the rifts, and you try to close the rifts out, and you use the elements to do so. It's a pretty fast-paced, fun little game. There was some little weird things about the rules that, and there was a couple cards, and I didn't mention this in the preview review that I did. There was a few cards in there that I think need to be looked at and adjusted because it kind of slowed gameplay down. But overall, it's a fun game, and as I said, the Kickstarter did actually get kickstarted, so this game should be out soon, and it is from, let's see, I can't find the company that's doing it right now because my computer's being weird.
Now, what I find interesting on this one is
Game Salute is the company that's doing it.
Is that the company didn't see fit to advertise through one of the most through Board Game Geek, because most of them tell Board Game Geek about it, so they get into the Geek List. Because when I go to see if I want to kickstart a project for a game, I always go to Board Game Geek and see if they're on because otherwise I don't learn to hear about them.
Right. Yep. And yeah, this actually they reached out to us on Twitter actually and wanted to know if we wanted to take a look at this. So yeah, I don't know if they just didn't think about going to Board Game Geek or not, but
so therefore this is something that I missed because we didn't have a show last week.
Yes, that would be the reason why you missed it. So yeah, we want to thank them for sending us the preview review copy of it. And check it out soon because it's kickstarted, and we will have a link to the site once you can actually order it. As I said, it's a fun game. It takes about 30, 45 minutes to play, and it's for 2 to 4 players.
Right, and that ended on Kickstarter yesterday. Okay. So, unfortunately, a little late in reporting it.
Yeah, and the review went up on Friday when the Kickstarter ended on Sunday. And that was, then again, due to me being sick. I had it for a while, and I just didn't have a chance to get the review up. So I rushed to get that up because I knew the Kickstarter was ending. So I apologize to them in the late response for getting that up. But hopefully we helped getting it kickstarted by that $1.
And unfortunately, it looks like that your weekend DDO also didn't go very well because it
did not.
It looks like you didn't have a chance to play.
No, I spent all of actually about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, trying not to die of the flu. That was the game I was playing.
Mm-hmm.
I had the flu like really, really bad, like super bad. Like I was the most sick I have been in, I can't even tell you how long. It was horrible. So, word to the wise, you don't want the flu. It sucks. It sucks really, really bad. So, that was my week in DDO, not dying of the flu. Yeah. How about you, finally?
All right. I didn't get much time on playing. First off, of course, my usual game with you didn't happen. But I did get it sometime with my Ranger, my level 6 Ranger. First off, I decided to try the anniversary again. This is the same character. We're on level 5. I've barely got through. So I tried, okay, let's try it on level 6. Now, I went in using only the freebie cleric in there, that level 3 cleric that I have because of pre-ordering one of the expansions or something like that. And do not do the level 6 version of this dungeon with only a level 3 cleric.
Probably not the best idea.
It did not work. It did not work. So therefore, I completely failed in that regard. So therefore, for an encore, I decided to instead to go into the Temple of Elemental Evil. Now,
I'm just trying to figure out what made you leap from, okay, I totally failed the anniversary event, so let's go do the temple. That sounds like a good idea.
Well, actually, it had to do with my recording schedule in there. That I had decided that I wanted to end the season for my playthrough with the temple, and I said 3 shows. Okay, I might be able to last long enough for 3 episodes. So I said, let's go and see how long. Now, since Temple is a level 7 dungeon, I thought, all right, I'll set it to casual, I'll set it to level 6, and maybe I'll last a couple of minutes longer that way. And to my utter shock, I finished the whole thing. I said, okay.
As in part 1?
Oh, yeah, all of part 1, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I finished up part 1.
So you actually managed to do the end fight.
I am shocked. Oh, but I did make sure I hired a level 6 cleric for this.
Learned your lesson, did you?
Yes, I learned my lesson from there. Yes, but because that cleric did save me a couple of times during that last boss fight, and it looks like I have a feeling that things are tamed down a little bit in casual.
I'm sure I would, to be honest with you, I've never played anything on the casual setting, so I don't know, but yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, it's the first time I did anything on casual also. But I thought that, I knew that there was no way in the world I was going to last in there. And I did not have to go through the Gatling ballista.
Yeah, I was going to ask how you handled that section, or you just skipped it totally?
Oh, I skipped that section completely.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I survived that. But there are a couple of places in there that were rather hectic, shall we say. And doing that all on my own, especially that latter part and that boss fight. But at least now I had an understanding of having to go into trying to get those elementals into their opposite elements and all that.
Yeah, say I'm impressed you remembered how to do that, because I know the couple times
I couldn't do it the last time.
Yeah,
we did it.
yeah, because I had to keep telling you how to do it, and you were like, "It's not working. I don't understand it." So yeah. Well, good for you though.
That's because I was constantly being stunned and hit.
Right,
and all that
right,
fun
exactly.
Stuff, so
yeah,
it was like completely hopeless in that matter. But this time I managed to get through all of that and survived it. And I suppose that means I'm going to have to do a bit and see how far I can get into part 2 in a few weeks. But yes.
Good luck with Zuckmoy. That is all I'm going to say. Good.
I'm pretty sure that I'm going to die in that boss fight if I don't die earlier.
That
the only thing
sucks.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to keep me from dying in the boss fight is dying earlier.
Oh yeah, because you have to run through the mushroom room of death before you get there. So yeah. So good luck.
There's a mushroom death, because I know there's also a mushroom room of death in part 1.
Yeah, there's one in part 2 that you have to go through too. So good
Probably
luck.
Worse.
Good luck, sir. Good luck.
Yeah. We currently have 25 supporters on Patreon, and if you would like to join our LFG of players and help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. And we did not receive any reviews this week, and no comments, and not even any emails. But if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You'll also follow us at Twitter @PlayersAlly for the Players Alliance, DDO Players @DDO Players, Draculetta @Draculetta_72, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, and the DDO Players News and the Players Alliance have 5 live shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. Every other Thursday at 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. Every other Saturday after Locho Players News, we have Tales of the Free Folk. And on the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Academy After School, which is coming up this week. And you can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And this is Pineleaf Needles saying farewell and reminding you to quest responsibly.